Every time the Epstein case returns to the news, the reaction is expected. Shock, anger, moral outrage. But many people feel nothing. This video is not about ignorance. It's not about approval. And it's not about defending powerful people. It's about what happens to the human mind when outrage stops working. This is not apathy. When people say, "I'm not bothered by it," they don't mean the story is unimportant. Most of the time, they mean something else. They mean their emotional system has learned to filter. The brain is not designed to feel deep moral outrage every week. When a story has no clear ending, no justice, and no personal action, the mind slowly pulls back. Counterpoint. Filtering protects energy, but it also reduces sensitivity. Over time, the line between protection and avoidance becomes thin. The role of control. One of the strongest reasons people stop reacting is lack of control. You can't change the case. You can't punish anyone. You can't influence the outcome. So the mind asks a simple question: why spend emotional energy on something I cannot affect? The answer is silence. Counterpoint. This logic is efficient, but dangerous. If applied too widely, it can reduce civic responsibility and moral awareness. Scandal fatigue. The Epstein case is not the first scandal, and it will not be the last. For many people, especially older audiences, this story feels familiar. They have seen powerful people exposed before. They have seen investigations stall. They have seen attention move on. The result is not anger, but exhaustion. Counterpoint. Fatigue feels like wisdom, but it isn't always. Sometimes it's just emotional burnout wearing a calm mask. Emotional numbing as a defense. When the mind cannot solve a problem, it often stops feeling it. This is not a choice, it's a survival response. The nervous system reduces emotional intensity to stay functional. People still work, they still raise families, they still live their lives. They just stop reacting to distant moral chaos. Counterpoint. Numbing protects stability, but also limits empathy. Over time, it can spread beyond the original topic. The age factor. Age matters here. People over 50 often react differently than younger viewers, not because they care less, but because they have seen patterns repeat. They don't expect closure. They don't expect accountability. They expect silence. So their reaction becomes quiet before the story even finishes. Counterpoint. Experience can bring clarity, or it can bring resignation. The difference is easy to miss. The "everyone is corrupt" shortcut. Another common reaction is moral generalization. If everyone at the top is corrupt, why focus on one case? This belief reduces emotional conflict. It creates a simple worldview. No hope, but no disappointment either. Counterpoint. This shortcut feels realistic, but it removes nuance. It replaces understanding with fatalism. Private life over public outrage. Many people consciously choose to focus on what they can control: their health, their family, their work, their immediate environment. They stop investing emotion in distant scandals and redirect it locally. This is not selfishness. It's prioritization. Counterpoint. When too many people withdraw, public accountability weakens. Balance matters. Silence does not mean agreement. This is important. Not being bothered does not mean support. It does not mean approval. It does not mean indifference to victims. It often means emotional self-regulation. People decide, consciously or unconsciously, that constant outrage damages their mental health. Counterpoint. Silence protects the self, but it can also protect systems that rely on forgetfulness. When not caring becomes a problem, there is a line. On one side, emotional boundaries. On the other, emotional shutdown. If someone feels nothing about injustice anywhere, not just in one case, that may signal something deeper. Detachment can spread. Counterpoint. Not all detachment is unhealthy, but total emotional distance is rarely neutral. What this reaction really protects? At its core, this reaction protects meaning. Constant exposure to unresolved evil creates a sense that nothing matters. So the mind reduces exposure. Less feeling, less thinking, less pain. It's not weakness. It's adaptation. Counterpoint. Every adaptation has a cost. The cost here is reduced engagement with shared reality. Final thought. Not reacting doesn't mean you don't care. Sometimes it means your mind decided this pain is no longer useful. The real question is not, should I feel outrage? The real question is, what does my silence protect? And what does it slowly take away? This is the if verse, where everyday reactions reveal deeper patterns of the mind. Subscribe. There's so much more to explore. Thank you for watching.